Welcome to the Wraith Action News Network from the Attack Action Podcast. We have breaking news from the streets of Amsterdam. There is magic abound. People are getting shook to the very core of their being. They are dead. Sigma wizards are everywhere, and you are not ready. I am joined by my brothers in arms, my co-hosts in everything, and Taylor and Blake. Welcome to the show. What the hell just happened?
I've only got one question for you guys. How many Earth cards are in your banish zone right now after that?
8.
Boom!
8, bro.
Eight.
I'm
And
at
what
like
are we
6.
talking about? We've got our
Whoa.
wizard heroes, Verdance, Thorn of the Rose, which I guess
Welcome to 40 health wizards.
Yeah,
hey.
which is crazy because this wizard also, like, their thing is to gain life. You know? And they were just like, well, that's fine. You can have 60 health. I don't care. You know,
I
at
hope
the end
you
of the
don't
game.
like playing fatigue because this will outgrind you.
Wild. Yeah. Interesting keynote overall. I would say the spoilers at this point feel a little tepid in terms of
Good word.
thank you, what they've shown us. I know they're trying to do this like slow roll of spoilers and stuff, but we didn't get any real weapons or anything like that. There's still just like too many questions, and we have so
We really
many
want you to
days
come to Tampa Bay.
before that happens. Yeah, this is like
Taylor's
normal,
expressing the feeling of everyone in this room.
the normal.
I can hear this picture.
This is like Friday on spoiler weekend. You know what I mean? When they're like spoiling stuff, and you're like, "Whoa, this is crazy! What's going to happen tomorrow?" But tomorrow is months or weeks away, so now we got to wait. But that being said,
We didn't even finish the hero power for Verdance. Let's do that real quick. If you have 8s and you heal 1, arcane any opposing target. You can't kill your own Ashwing, but you could kill Dromai's Ashwing. So this is the first wizard that can go toe to toe with Dromai.
Finally.
yeah, gain health, got 8 in the banish, deal 1 arcane.
Which, if you remember from our pre-show where it was just us 3, I said it's the end of the game. You're going toe to toe. We're both under 5 health. Verdance says, I'm sick of this. Pitches a Heart of Findle, swings Findle's Fighting Spirit at you, 7 physical coming at you. She's at lower health, so she's going to gain 2 health, and then ping you twice with Arcane. So this is a 3 for 11 now.
Broken. It's too good.
What could you possibly do to stop it?
You're gonna have to go fast. Which I'm wondering, like, is this our first, like, nope, you're supposed to play attack actions in this hero, just like you. I don't think Icelander was designed to play those attack actions, but I don't think Verdance is gonna be what I thought it was originally, of do a spell that's like 12 damage.
I mean, she could be. So like Icelander was like a wizard only in the sense that they had Storm Striders and played stuff on your other person's turn. She was like this close to being also a Rune Blade, you know, which is Verdance also going to do that? That would, I mean, make like a little bit of sense because of the limited format that they could be able to play attack actions. So we'll see.
Because that means Verdance is also the first hero where there's not the ability to play on your opponent's turn written on our hero power.
That is true.
And
Although,
maybe Ailio's coming back around too.
who was that other wizard they only gave away at events? That
Blaze.
Blaze says you can take a counter off and like play something on your opponent's turn.
gotcha. Yeah, okay. So maybe it's a fair wizard, but then they were like, but she also just gains health all the time.
Which I do think like our stuff that does this already is like Sigil of Suffering, is not Steelblade Shunt, but kind of like, are you going to pay the one, quote unquote, from that other game, but instead of paying the one to avoid someone drawing a card, you're paying one to just not take Arcane. I think you could almost think of this as like, this is a Frostbite, but instead of you paying one extra to swing your stuff, you're paying one extra to not take a damage.
They just gonna whip out the Reaping Blade, and we don't need to worry about her hero power at all.
Oh my god!
There we
Or
go.
the Dread Scythe.
Or the Dread Scythe. Let's go, Dread Scythe. Come on.
I just keep singing Seal in my head. Verdance. Verdance. Thorn of the rose on the grave.
It's also
Ooh.
interesting. Her hero text says during your turn. So you can't like from Arsenal when they CNC you play Sigil of Solace to gain 3 health and deal them arcane damage. Like you would have to play that on your turn for you to deal arcane damage.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's less powerful than I thought. So I'm even like, oh god,
Wow.
you can't.
Well, what I don't get to is I guess Sigil is one instance of gain 3. So that's one time you're gaining life. So that's gain 3 life, deal 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why her specialization, something Heart of Candlehold, is gain life period, gain life period, gain life period. So that's 3 pings of arcane. 1 cost 1 is a blue, has go again.
And I think if you are looking at this, does this mean the first 5 turns of the game, Verdance really doesn't have a hero power? Because you're going to have to block with your earth cards or use your earth cards to get them into the graveyard. Then you're going to have to like either hopefully she has some decomposed cards, or you're going to have to play So Tomorrow, or maybe her weapon has a thought process where banish an earth card and now you can play something at instant speed. Maybe the instant speed wizard shenanigans is on her weapon, and that's how they balance her.
Mm.
Yeah.
And like that would make sense.
Yeah. RIP Arachne. Can't play contract Arachne. Just helping Verdance out.
Oh wow. You can't
Yeah.
play new. She's gonna be able to banish.
New's just gonna play those cards though. She'll be like, oh, I'll just play your blue, earth cards, and now you don't have 8. So
yeah, now I gain 3 life.
Yeah.
For
I
free.
gain.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I guess
love
So
that.
Tomorrow goes back to the banish zone, doesn't it? Or
So Tomorrow.
So Tomorrow gets
itself.
banished. Yeah.
okay, so
But it would be a news banish zone. Sucker.
take that.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about on Verdance? I love this hero art, by the
The
way.
hero art's good. We got the full Marvel in here too. It's pretty.
I like that
pretty.
dress.
Yeah.
It looks like lettuce, to be honest.
Goes with the broccoli guy that was also spoiled, that promo. Whatever it is.
The broccoli guy.
He is. He's a broccoli guy. What is it? It's Earth form. And by Earth form, I mean broccoli form. That guy looks just like broccoli.
Nice.
Check it out.
Uncle Johnny made this dress, so it's good. But yeah, she looks pretty exciting. I think there's a lot of questions about what do we do. Game life is great, but if you're just dealing 1 damage each time you do that, that's not really a game plan. It could just be maybe how you chip down, or close out the game in certain situations. But yeah, it'll be cool to see how that plays out.
The thing, my closing statement on Verdance that I think is a real win is it is a totally different type of wizard we have ever seen, right? like their hero box, their vibe, potentially what they're going to do from what has been spoiled. That I think is fantastic.
10 out of 10.
Because it will be you're not going to have the equipment to both block a 7 damage attack and a 5 damage spell. So you're going to get screwed over at least once a game.
Boom. 10 out of 10 would keynote again. All right. Next up, we have got to go back because I put this in a weird order. Our Ailio, the Constella Intelligence. Just also dope art. Like I love the marvels of both their young and old art is like pretty sick. I love that they're basically, you know, I don't know, an elemental or like some kind of construct that is not a person. Like, is this our first non-person hero?
There's Floof from Squizzy and Floof, of course.
I think so.
Not sure how you forgot Squizzy and Floof. But...
Just don't tell him. He's gonna be so mad at me. But yeah, so now we have another kind of confusing hero ability that is not quite sure how this benefits or like what the gameplay is, but you know, drawing a card is always pretty good.
I think what's interesting is discard an instance. This card has to happen from hand, so it's not like, oh, I have an instant aura out that I could maybe like break or something. But like, I think it's, oh, I have a healing card or I have a card in my hand that doesn't quite fit what I want to do right now. I can discard it to maybe draw a block card, or I can discard it to maybe draw an attacking card because I don't quite need this. But that means you're blazing through your deck way quicker. So I'm wondering if he's going to be like an OTK hero, and his hero power is specifically made to get to your win conditions quicker.
Potentially. Oh, nice job, February. Just freaking got all the spoilers up there. There's also, I'm like, I don't know how all of this works, right? So channel Lightning Valley.
Yep.
Is first time you deal arcane damage to an opposing hero, you get to draw a card off of that bad boy. So we got that going. So it could be pinging them and then getting a draw card there to be able to discard. But then if for some reason we control an aura permanent with sigil in its name, we can use Volzar, maybe the worst named weapon, the lightning rod. Okay. This name or this costs 1 less to activate if you got a sigil. Once per turn instant, amp X, where X is the number of lightning cards. So it feels like there's something where you can like find the cards you want to play on that turn with the Lightning Valley and the Lightning Rod and our Lightning Wizard and something like that, right? To get a bunch of cards to like kind of go off with like one big spell that where you've played like 3 or 4 cards and it's like amp 4 on your freaking broken split card that works somehow. Whatever one of those is freaking broken. They're all sideways, which is upsetting. Comet Storm Shock. Yeah, that one. That deals 5 arcane. All of a sudden deals 9.
Because your opponent could go like, well, I'm going to Oasis it. And you go, I'll shock first. And then you're like,
fuck. Yeah.
God dang it. I think the whole Ailio stuff is kind of like, this is sick, but also like, oh, everything we like guessed was wrong. Of like, they don't have 5 intellects. I guess we don't know if like why does he have 36 health? And like Icelander, she had how many health? You remember at this point?
36.
So she's an Icelander powered level hero allegedly, and that's something where you're like, what does that mean? Like it's not as strong as Kano, this hero power. I don't know. I just basically asked a bunch of questions with no answers. But
okay,
that's just called reporting.
That's true. Colin, your thoughts, because then I have a lore thought also about Ailio.
Look how tight he is. They are. So yeah, no feet, but 1 foot maybe. So we can still rock the Storm Striders. I guess both of them can. So they always have the ability to, at least do one impactful on their turn activation. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of lightning cards that I have not paid attention to ever really in the past. So I think there's going to be some interesting combinations. It does feel like these here, because like of the nature of the talents that both of these wizards are attached to, there will be more of a mix of non just wizard spell, cards. So I think that's definitely going to be an interesting area to watch out for people kind of cooking on the initial deck list to see, is this a hero that is a, hybrid, or are they all elemental and you just want the new lightning cards or the good non-attack action cards that kind of like what's it called? Work with their hero ability and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's very interesting. I honestly I feel whelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not super stoked. I think the art is awesome, but I'm also just kind of like, I don't know. I can't sit here and be like, oh, well, let me think about 100 cards and how all the interactions are going to work with this new weapon and this new hero and these new things. So I don't know. Someone's going to have to show me why this is cool, and then I'll believe it. And that's fine. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I can't be like, this is why Ailio is going to be dominant in the meta when it releases in September. Taylor,
I do have one correction for Taylor a second ago, because there was Channel Lightning Valley. You were like, first time it does arcane, it's first time you deal damage at all. So
right,
you could like I think Ailio is going to have attack actions as well, because someone was saying like, can you imagine trying to block arcane with Ailio? And he's like, it's actually just lightning press on a snatch. Like, fuck you. God damn it. Or like you don't know, like I'm presenting a snatch. What could happen? Like, or I could do the arcane spell over the top, or I could do a lightning press.
Lightning Surge from Arsenal 044 has go again.
And that's just free real estate. Like that's like a scar for a scar that you don't have to turn on.
I mean, he turns me on.
Scar for Scar's turn on anyway from his health or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. Wizards, though, I think we still have to wait for their heroes, their weapons to come out. I don't think they're going to use previously made weapons.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have the
lightning staff, right?
Voltex lightning rod. He's holding it. Ailio's holding it in their hand right there.
I didn't add all the other cards, but
what does Volzar do?
If you control an aura permanent with sigil in its name, this costs 1 less to activate. Once per turn instant, 1 resource, amp X, where X is the number of lightning cards you've played this turn.
And so lightning press turns on your weapon now too?
Yeah, oh exactly. God.
Yeah, Blake, you didn't listen to my whole freaking spiel about where I explained all of those interactions? You weren't paying attention? You just zoning out?
He's just looking at the...
I'm just trying to make sure everyone actually got it, okay?
Just upset.
All right, who's next?
This person doesn't have feet. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Ask us questions, tell us stuff. We'll try to get to it when we can. Why no feet? Exactly.
Yeah, we went from an all feet set to a no feet set. What is happening?
This is just crazy. Okay, so Ailio, Constella Intelligence, which also we have the Alluvian Constellus Robes. This is the first time those two words have come together. So
breaking news.
Ailio like an ancient guardian, in quotations, not the class, but the thought of a protector that an ancient civilization of high-tech superpower magic wizards made long ago to seal away some sort of terrible evil that's back. And now Ailio has freaking awakened to give us the knowledge we need to freaking defeat the evil stuff. Is that what's happening? Is that the lore dump that we're gonna hopefully we get, but never actually get and never know? That's what I'm gonna say it is.
Ailio is just a child who stuck their finger in the outlet and then transcended to a being of pure electricity and light.
Tight origin story. Love that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I think it seems like that fits the bill. I mean, looking at the young art, which again, sorry, I don't have that in here, but the full art has little people.
Totally.
So when you're fighting Ailio, you're fighting like, a skyscraper. So just putting that into perspective.
Totally. Should have 138 health.
Exactly.
36.
And 1 intelligence.
1 intelligence.
I think what was going through my head, I know he has Volzar in his hand, but like, I'm from the Monarch Tales of Arya brain, where it's like, oh, but that's his like common one. Like, what's his majestic weapon that actually matters? And that just, I guess, hasn't been true for a long time.
Really?
That was what's going through. Like, Volzar doesn't
too.
look cool.
I think that too every time. I'm like, well, there's going to be a fucking majestic weapon in this set that's going to be even better. So we're going to use that. And that hasn't been the case at all. Like when Mistblade came out, I was like, oh yeah, there's probably like a majestic sword that assassin can use or something like that. There's got to be but there isn't. So anyway,
clearly not just a tiger taming chakra. There's got to be something else.
Just a big stick. Oh, everybody, look how
That's
excited
everyone listening to jokes from us and Brian Godley for us.
Yeah, as Blake said, top 10 keynote. Which, for those who are counting. Yeah, so I mean, the other side of this whole thing is the splits cards.
Ooh.
The splits cards. We have Meld, which is, to me, it's a fine keyword. I think it evokes a idea and feeling that the actual mechanic does not do, because it doesn't feel like you're melding the cards together. It just feels like I get to do 2 things. Like, like when you fused, you were like, I have to like do this and I have to show this. This is just 2 cards printed on 1. Like it's a twofer. So okay, these are our twofer cards. But I guess it's not a true twofer because you still have to pay both costs, which is interesting. But yeah, this is our big new reveal of the Null Shock and the Comet Storm Shock and the Burn Up Shock. Which is just kind of like, it was like a little bit
I will call them twofers. That's so much better.
It was just kind of like, okay, so you do this and you do one other thing, and maybe there'll be some other templates that have a second thing that's different, but so far all we've seen is this. So definitely interesting. I'm also kind of like, I don't like that I have to look at them sideways, because when you're in limited, you're going to be there like, let me try to you don't look at my head. I'm just thinking.
You have to turn your whole hand sideways even when you don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're you pretend like you're thinking about
all your cards like this.
Yeah, you're thinking about blocking, but you're actually just reading your cards.
I think there's a lot of stuff happening with the Meld split cards of like, it's equal parts like it gave a way for them to like, these are instants but also block for 3, which would be so busted if it was a regular card, but because it's a specific only for this set stuff, only for these Earth and Lightning heroes, that's a little bit more balanced. Right now we have the only one that's double instant, so it's not showing up right now, but on the others, even though the shock and life sides are instants. They have the block 3 in the bottom right. And like I think that's truly what it was. So you can play a hero that cares about instants, but also not die. And like it is kind of, I think it's more simple than it looks right now, because shock is do 1 damage and life is heal 1 damage. So it's like just do whatever you want, but then it costs a little bit extra to do the other, like gain 1 or lose 1. And there's going to be cards that synergize with this completely, of like doing 1 more damage right now will turn on my weapon, turn on my thing, turn on my thing. Of course, I'm going to use both sides of this Meld card. And maybe there will be a little bit of counterplay of, am I going to activate the instant part before or after this resolves, and probably put my opponent in a checkmate scenario.
It's okay. It's an, I don't know where to start with these split cards.
Trying to read these cards on Saturday right now.
I know, right? You have to do them like this. It's freaking weird. Because it's weird that they're 2 cards, but it's always one of the same card. You know, it's always shock or it's always life.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
You know, like that.
Were you not
is
listening
weird.
to me when I was talking about?
Sorry.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm reiterating it because it was a really good point.
Thank you.
So
no, yeah, I agree.
It's like having this like a token attached to an actual card. You know what I mean? And then how I personally feel about it, I'm like, okay, cool idea. We're doing so many goofball things in this set, it seems like. And without knowing how the rules interactions are and how they kind of like work in a game scenario, like, you know, so you play them both and you have to like meld that turn, or like when you play it, you can't like play the action part and then you have just an instant floating until you want to trigger that instant, right? Like maybe you have to play them both at the same time, or play one or not the other, or whatever. And so not knowing all of those little interactions or how they're going to work in the game makes it hard for me to get pumped up. I think it's an interesting thing to have done in the game. Like it feels as insane. I mean, maybe it's because I never played Magic, where they probably did split cards, or Pokemon, or whatever the other million TCGs,
both of those, yeah.
You know, but it feels as like kind of nuts what they're doing, as to me anyway, as Bright Lights, where it's just all mechanologist, and they're like, now we have Evos and stuff, and there's like, this is just wild. They're really going for it. So they're pushing the envelope of the game for sure in that way.
I just want to see a OTK Verdance who just like sigils a bunch of times and then plays Thistle and then like does that like a bunch of times in a row and just swings ones and destroys. Okay, wait, no, you can't do it. It's a Rune Blade action. See, I can't read the cards. Never mind.
What is interesting about this is if you look in the spreadsheet, there's only 3 split cards available per Lightning Wizard, Lightning Runeblade, Earth Runeblade, Earth Wizard. So it won't be like there's going to be a red, blue, yellow of the other one. Like we saw a couple Majestics. So I think there will be a Majestic, a rare, and a common of these for each hero. So it won't be like, oh my God, I have 500 copies of these at the end of the day when I open up a box. You may have 500 copies of the common, or not 500, but maybe like 6. But like, that's something that I think is like, we won't have to worry about them playing a red, blue, yellow cycle of these and like be super confusing. I do think I've been playing for about 3.5 years, and this shit is so confusing to me where I can't imagine being a brand new player and like jumping on this set and being like, oh, my Meld card, and like, what's your Meld card do, Bravo? And Bravo's like, I don't have a Meld card. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know, because I know in Magic, whenever I saw these, I've seen these in Pokemon where it was like, you get two different Pokemon and put them together and they're stronger together. That's not what this is. But Magic had this exact thing of like, it would be like rhyme and reason or death and taxes or something, like the words went together, but they did different things. And honestly, it was so confusing because that was a set where I bought Magic cards out of nowhere. It was so confusing to me. It kind of turned me off of Magic and I didn't play. And I think that was like 7 or 8 years ago where I was like, why are there split cards? And I've had that bad mentality towards split cards. So when I saw this pop up today, I was like, jump scare, where like, it isn't my favorite thing to do because it's so hard to explain to new players. Also, when you're searching for these cards, how do you search it? Do you search pulsing aether? Where's the backslash on my keyboard, on my mobile keyboard? Because I'm looking this up or whatever. And like whenever I'm talking about this card to someone, do I go pulsing aether life is like a marble thing in your mouth instead of like, oh, any other card I can tell you in two words, or like we have abbreviations. We'll figure it out. It's just annoying of like the extra steps of these split cards. There's going to be judge calls. There's going to be so many judge calls about this shit. And you're going to be like, I have to learn every single intricacy now, or I'm going to lose to a wizard doing intricacy shit. And it's like, okay, here we go.
That was always the case.
Welcome to the new game, guys.
That was always the case because wizards are for the big brained only.
True.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally feel you on like the intro level of this. Yeah, that's probably why they were like, strike deck, here's the easy way in. But you know, it's also, I think this game is complicated no matter what, so there's no real getting around that. If you don't like some complexity, this probably is not the game. You know, you could probably get away with just doing Zen shit or whatever aggro rush down deck is popular, and just like only care about what you're doing and therefore limit what you have to know. But it's just part of the game at this point. But it is clunky to say. I don't like it, just hearing Ryan like say the names like this shock and this shock and this, you know, it just made them all sound like the same, which was like a little hard to, you know, I think right there is like, oh, okay, this is weird.
The other total goofy thing that has happened, I think, is he goes, there's no arcane barrier, but you get the Sanctuary of Arya, which is like just a token you now have on the board for all limited stuff. And I'm like, okay, it just, maybe it'll be fine and I will be happy to have the Sanctuary of Arya. It looks freaking cool. You know, it'll just be on the board hanging out there until I destroy it. But I don't know, it feels weird, right? Doesn't that, like, Miter?
Yeah.
Helios Miter was a cool idea, I think. And it felt weird though in that set because like two heroes are like, I do not care about having blues in my deck really, so I can't use it because I don't have enough resources when I'm gonna need to use it or whatever, you know. And then one hero was like, yeah, I got plenty of blues, this is me sick. So maybe in this set where there's like more resources, it'll be cool because you destroy it at the beginning of the end phase, so you can use it a bunch of times. So if you have 4 blues, you have 6 chances to defend 1 damage that would be dealt to you, either arcane or physical. So maybe it's cool. But yeah, it's just like it feels to me, and I don't mean to be critical without knowing anything, you know, but like what else is there to make content about and talk about? But it feels like, oh fuck, we need like a thing. We need a thing.
Whoops, we forgot
to not die. Like, oh right, let's just make a token that's just out there that everybody has, and we'll call it a macro. That's a sexy word.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Rosetta macro.
The least sexy new card type we've ever heard.
Totally, the most rulesy thing.
I'm sure the judges are like, dope, we just have a macro card, and everyone else is like, I feel like I'm doing.
I will not call it macro. I'm going to call it like a stadium or battlefield. Like what are we doing?
Like they could have just called
Landmark.
it a sanctuary, like, like it's not a landmark. I mean, they could have just called it a landmark. Like
Yeah,
that would have
why
been
can't it
fine.
just be a landmark? I guess
Like-
then it would have to. No, they're not all. Some of them are universal for both players, right? But like Mist
Parallel.
Gully is not, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so you just that would have been cooler if instead of just naming it after a rules interaction. Rosetta object could have been that also.
Rosetta place to fight.
Yeah.
Shout out to chat. IPs are macros, and also IPs are sexy.
Shout outs to chat. I think one thing that's also realizing this, like midway through, you're just like, oh shit. Like, if you were excited about Living Legend and you have a bad matchup into Briar, and Briar can play all of these split cards because none of them are specializations, Briar can now block for 4 with most of her cards and also use the split cards, which were meant for new heroes, to do like arcane extra damage. And she's probably about to get a Florian weapon and an Aurora weapon, unless they specialize those. Where you're just like, good luck if you want to play Living Legend.
That is kind of tight. That makes me excited to do some weird shit with Briar. That's exciting.
We have a correction from chat. Landmarks blow each other up, so you can only have one in play at a time.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, we call it a sanctuary. That's a cool thematic thing on the card. You can say this is a Rosetta macro that allows you to play this in Rosetta, blah 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 blah. But like just calling the card, I don't know. It's just like it does feel like a whoops. We needed to fix something, and this is our thing. And also, this applies to all limited, meaning sealed deck, booster draft, and Blitz pre-constructed. So I guess everyone's getting this in the Blitz pre-constructed decks as well.
And then what I also don't understand is are first strikes Blitz pre-constructed, or that's a separate thing?
I think
Those
that's
are
a
separate
separate
things?
thing. First strike is a new
whole-
thing.
Man, there's so many products now.
Yeah.
What is sealed deck if it's not Blitz pre-constructed? Sealed deck is we're playing sealed. Got it. Why is this not instant pay 1 and pretend it's Arcane Barrier? Why is it pay 2? That's so bad. Like who is balancing this game right now? Like, figure your shit out.
Yeah, we already have pay 1 at instant speed and prevent 1. It's called Quell.
Yeah, put Quell on this.
And then it breaks.
It does. I mean, I think looking at these heroes and their abilities and the cards we've seen, there doesn't seem to be like an overwhelming amount of just pure arcane damage.
Okay, tell that to frickin' Comet Storm, which is a rare.
Deal
5 arcane damage plus another
Dude.
lightning instant that deals 1.
It's a rare though. Like, are you actually gonna get more than one? Like
3.
Bro, it comes in 3 colors.
Does it?
Allegedly. I don't know.
I'm gonna literally No, it doesn't. It doesn't come in 3 colors.
Why not?
Because it's a split card.
So?
Yeah, like
What
I'm
if it
gonna
comes in
sit
blue?
down.
It
I'm gonna
comes in
sit
blue, it
my
deals
ass
3.
down. Split cards don't have red, blue, yellows. We know that because of the numbering or whatever. Allegedly. If you're a numbers guy, bottom left. I'm a big numbers guy, and I follow
you
it.
are. That's the
Yeah.
breaking news. Put that as a banner.
Blake is
a numbers guy.
I like the math over the music of this game for sure. Not a lot of music to release today because they even released an entire video without music, which was crazy. It reminded me of the Mummy thing where they released the Mummy trailer without music or sound effects, and it was just Tom Cruise yelling. "Ah!"
That was funny. I watched that when you posted that, and I was like, this is the exact same thing.
And then
Yeah, at first I
the
was like, what is going on? And I was just like, oh my God, they just have noise cancellation running on this whole stream. And it was like, it was doing its job and being like, oh, you're breathing and there's music in the background. Cut that shit out, dude. Cut it out. We don't want it. This is only about dialogue.
So
and that's
funny too,
because the
because
crowd cam was so bad, right?
it makes it such a weird vibe too. Like, and then punchline, and then it's just like
Silence. Yeah, I know.
oh man.
and we have Aurora being like, "Oh, Celio, you're a big monster," and then doing this with her hand, and you're like, "Okay, I guess now we have heroes for everybody. This one's not for me." Of like, you can't
guess-
catch me, you big idiot.
Exactly this. She's the fucking. She's like the Gen Alpha or Gen Z.
Wait, she's a shooting star. Is she our first influencer hero?
I
Easily.
hope so.
Easily.
Not our last.
Also, fuck
I
us.
thought you were our first influencer hero.
Apparently, chat
Hey.
loves macros. Everybody loves macros, and we're the only macro haters out here.
Dude, good.
Well,
Fine.
great. They can find a new
Stir that
podcast to listen
engagement.
to.
So we did get, just to wrap up the other announcements, we got our adult versions of Aurora, Shooting Star, as well as the other guy we'll look at second, with our really good Marvel full hero art stuff.
I don't know about this pose.
I mean, it's giving a little like Spider Woman, like contortionist. Make sure that there are both T and A in the picture.
While holding a gigantic sword.
But yeah, but also like less egregious. I think the weird thing for me is that her back leg is like behind her front leg, and her body's just
this is a rough like. I do think this may be the first piece of art that we have in our game that gets like shared to like bad proportions to, but maybe it was a directive. I don't know who made this art, but the posing is just weird to me.
So like I'll say this about
it's
Aurora.
Azure Mizoa, baby.
Could be a dope hero mechanically, but vibes wise or just art wise is the first hero where I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. Like
that sword though
was freaking not for me, but art was dope. Dromai, super not for me. Art was freaking dope. Even Dash with their rat tail is a for sure strong choice. Also not for me. But Aurora is the first time I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel flesh and bloody if that was in front of me. You know what I mean?
It does feel like what are we doing, but like, is this a new direction, or is this like what target audience are we targeting audience for this one? Of like you haven't been trying out Flesh and Blood because you don't have like a quirky Gen Z person, and now you do. Her name is Aurora, and she's the shooting star, baby.
That's what's been keeping me down. I think it is like the art style does feel very different. It is kind of more anime. I think it is in line with Azure's other stuff that she's done, and I do generally like her art style. I think I honestly like, other than the weird proportion, kind of stance stuff, I don't know, I think it's cool. It's got like a bunch of purples, like it's very Room Bladey. Like the sword is cool. There's lightning. Cool. Like her hair is cool. I don't know. I disagree with you guys. I think I'm like, this is cool. I like her. I don't like their like the way they made her sound in the video, because it sounded just like like it was just like that was kind of like
loser.
Yeah. It was like a little egregious, but
yeah, totally. SW in chat says Arya has the least fabby art direction. Strong disagree. Look at how freaking dope Briar looks back here, looking freaking awesome. And Oldhim looks awesome.
Yeah,
Lexi,
she's a
Lexi kind of looks a lot like Aurora.
I think
they have
SW
the similar like
Aurora has the least fabby art direction. I think it's just a typo.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Speaking of our earthy, sad sad boys and girls. We got Florian, the Rotwood Harbinger.
I think
What a
great
great name.
flesh and blood name. That is an actually good name.
Sure.
Do you like the rose in his hand?
Love it.
Okay, cool.
It's
What about-
hilarious. It's hilarious. Ungloved dark rose hand. So funny. So funny. Flip him to his marble side. It's kind of sick. It goes kind of hard, you know.
Yeah, I mean the armor is cool. The leaves, I'm like, there's like a little too many leaves for me. I'd rather it look more like armor turning into leaves rather than leaves just growing on his body. But that's fine. It looks cool. He's our new moody sad boy.
People were going wild for this art. I was like, okay, cool. Like, great. I'll trade you mine when I get it. And give me the verdicts, please.
I think it's sick. I like the Earth Heroes are my two favorite out of the four of them for sure. You know?
Because the plants are growing directly around his body, which is an interesting, like, is he warping the trees around him? Or we just wanted to frame him exactly the same amount away from the tree the whole time? I'm going in on the art because we do have our art drafts every time.
Yeah, we got to get
Yeah,
ready for the
totally.
art draft.
We are probably the podcast that cares most about art because we're a music and art studio, basically.
Baby,
of
let's
this
go.
game.
That's our niche. Hot takes, non-competitive play.
But like,
and
why
art
is
and
he?
music?
Why is he not a shadow elemental runeblade? Why did they not do that?
Because that would have been busted, dude.
That would have been so sick. 8 cards in the banish. Actually, that'd be kind of sick. Then you have like 8 cards in the banish, and then you're like, well, do I play this from the banish? Now I don't have 8. You know, could be cool. They
But
maybe
then
tried to do
then
that.
you banish something from a hand, and then you do right before you would create a no token, and you get it anyways.
Who knows? He might transform into some sort of tree monster and all of a sudden be a shadow elemental runeblade wizard mechanologist or something.
Binger Har wood rot.
Benjer Harwood, bro.
CEO of Rotwood Industries.
Is this a top 5 hero power ever printed? Because it's Mordred's Hide if you have your game plan going.
No clue, because this is like the thing. You're like, cool, this is fun. Love this art. But I just have no context of how any of this is going to interact. So, you know, I still want to play the game and do
Gotta
good
read
at the
between
game.
the lines, man. Brian
and have-
Gottlieb told you.
Are the breadcrumbs
I-
not big enough after 2 cards?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
One thing, if Florian has access to eloquence at all, this game is over.
Done
Because
so.
he could do his hero power into his split meld card or vice versa, whichever one makes sense. And he's going to be like, gain like 8 health and 9 rune chance and then like do it again almost. And you're like, wait, what? So I don't like, please God, do not give Florian eloquence tokens. And if that's written on his sword or something, or his other majestic, good Lord, like get me out of here. Because I think he will be an OTK, like block, build up with my Mordred Tide hero power, play my specialist, play my meld card. Now I have a shitload of rune chance because neither of those are attacks. And now it's time to go and just boom, swing that big ass tree attack.
Okay, yeah.
There
His
you go.
specialization is Germinate. Create a rune chant or embodiment of Earth token. Repeat this process X more times, and it's an XX cards. And then you gain X plus 1 life, which is kind of nuts. Shout out to Carlos Cruchaga. Also, shout out to Brian. Rotwood direct nerf to Arachne. Exactly. Arachne is dead. It's over. All these heroes make it worse.
No,
and worse.
Arachne's really good against Arcane.
You better start thinking how you're gonna cover up that tattoo on your hand.
I know, right? Just get Florian's face right on top of it.
Just a big dead leaf instead.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, how do we feel about that?
Rosetta,
dang it.
go to Tampa. Hurry up. You got to get
Something
there.
else. I freaking forgot though.
Dude, you forgot.
I forgot. I'm kind of excited for this set.
Oh, we have 3 other cards. The hand behind the pin, smash up, and tongue tied. Is that what you forgot?
Oh yeah. And we do got to talk about how sick the alt arts for Findel's fighting spirit are. Like those went hard. Those were sick.
And Lightning Press is like brand new crazy new art.
Yeah, those are really dope. And pretty sad I will have 0 of those and we'll have to spend millions of dollars for them. But yeah, there's the 3 new generics, and I forget who in chat pointed it out that those are pretty good with the Zuri swaps. Just your arsenal can go fuck itself, especially if you're running any of the split cards in there. I'm just going to swap into that. Right? So that's why it like hits both of them. So it's like hand behind the pin, smash up, tongue tied. It's like when they hit this hero, turn a card face up in their arsenal and then banish it if it's a non-attack, an attack, or an instant. And they're 2 for 6, 1 for 5, 3 for 7, which I don't know why they're all different, but that's fine.
So 3 for 7 doesn't work in our context of Uzuri bringing it up, but like tongue tied is some crazy Groot looking monster guy where I'm like, is this going to be our art as we have a whole bunch of Groot people?
Also, the art on these is insane. Like hand behind the pen is a dude walking away who takes off a mask that then he just has a tentacle face exploding out of his robed head. Is pretty insane.
Tentacle face, new hero.
And then tongue tied is a whole different race of people and beings, apparently. Maybe it's a demon we're having a bondage party with. Who knows what's going on there?
We can only hope.
And then it's Thor Mike riding a freaking majestic reindeer, which is pretty cool. Shout out
Thor
to
Mike and his boy Blue.
Yeah, on Smash Up. That's who that is.
I was trying to add these new cards in there. I didn't have them, but I can't get it. Whatever.
It's okay. Everybody's watching on YouTube, so they can like Control T, go look at it themselves. You know,
you can look at it. Go to February.net.
Yeah, shout out to them always.
The last thing that I have is the idea of the Guardian Mastery Pack. I wish that was a necromancer.
And that's all the time we had. No.
Like, it'd be so cool if it was like, here's how we're going to introduce a whole brand new class. It's the Necromancer Mastery Pack. And then everyone would be like, everyone wants these cards. Everyone's excited. Like, anytime there is going to be a new class introduced, God forbid, because our last one was Illusionist, and that was set 4, and we're on set 14 now without releasing a brand new class. Or Assassin, just kidding. Assassin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all Assassin set, bro. Come on.
I think instead of doing like we did with Arachne, whenever Necromancer does come out, I hope it is a mastery pack like that. But Guardian Mastery Pack is a big old snooze. What is it? Honk, shoo, shoo, shoo. And if you're a hardcore like Guardian player and they're like, don't worry, you have 140 cards coming in April, do you just go, okay, see you in April, like goodbye, like y'all have fun, hopefully it's all there when I come back of like my 15 person armories don't take a big hit, but I will see you in April because I want to play Guardian.
What's also maybe dope, I have no answers to those questions. Those are for everybody else. What also is cool though, and is what something I think they should have freaking been doing 100 years ago, is the Armory deck's new hero. New hero introduced in an Armory deck. You know what I'm saying?
That would be sick.
That's
what they're doing.
Yes. Let's do that.
It is?
That is what's happening. They're doing a new hero in an Armory deck.
Yeah.
So it's going to be even harder for Taylor to play that one.
Yeah, because we don't get him at our LGS. It's probably going to be Arachne, solidarity friendship, and now they're just part of like a really good group of friends and have a nice armory deck. So that's what they're going to do with new hero, is just same hero, somebody we've seen.
Same hero, different day. That's it.
And the spoilers just got released. Spoiler stuff. So there's going to be a summer, winter, spring, and fall, or what is it? Autumn. So get excited.
Get excited.
There'll be a spoiler at Battle Hardened San Diego, which make sure 85 of y'all go to, because
we got a running bet.
Oh yeah, we got a running bet. Whatever I said, 120.
You got to figure out how to bus people in from San Diego or Chicago.
This is us signing off from the news. This is what reporters do, right? They hold on to their earpiece. Thanks, everybody. This has been the Rathe Action News with Taylor, Colin, and Blake. Signing off.
Goodbye.